When you make the numbers, any European country is $1 billion market, or more than $1 billion market. So it doesn't make any sense to think that the only market is the US. Of course, the biggest in the world, especially for software. But if you look at Europe, there are many, many huge markets as well.
I'm Pep Lau. I don't do fluff. I don't do filler. I don't do emojis. What I do is study winners in B2B SaaS because I want to know how much is strategy, how much is luck, and how to do it. This week, Bernat Farrero, CEO of Factorial HR. It's an all-in-one HR solution targeting small to medium-sized businesses. They're a unicorn. Discover how Factorial HR conquered SMB challenges with an all-in-one solution. Learn the strategic moves behind their rapid growth from local to global markets. Understand the importance of adaptability in product expansion and market penetration. Let's get into it.
So we started already as an all-in-one software, but early in that day, we were thinking of building a time management all-in-one software that included a benefits platform, kind of like the Zenefits in the US. There was nothing similar in Europe, so we're building a similar thing in Europe. Then we evolved in different ways than Zenefit, but we started as an all-in-one time management solution.
Starting as a all-in-one from day one is kind of it's hard to start because then what are you, and also takes a lot of time to build the software. So why did you decide to go all-in-one from the get-go?
We were targeting SMB businesses, and we wanted to target SMB businesses right from the beginning, and we stick to that purpose. And if you go to visit an SMB, the first thing you learn is that you cannot be fixing problem by problem. No, they want a solution that is complete, and they don't want to have a vendor for every kind of problem they have. So you need to come up with a value proposition that solves many problems at once. That's one reason. The other reason is the economics. You need to charge them at least the cost of visiting them, when you start. So for that, if you want to charge the SMB to solving one of their problems, you need to solve enough problems in order to have a decent annual contract value. So that we had that in mind right from the beginning. So we knew that we had to solve problems that were worth the visit, basically.
Yep. SMB segment is also notorious for bad churn, essentially.
Yep.
So did that factor in that, if you have your fingers in more things, there's going to be better retention, or?
Yeah, SMB is a kind of a higher volume, lower margin, because it's higher churn kind of segment, and we know that. But there are also many SMBs being created all the time. It depends on the size of the SMBs that have the smaller, obviously, the higher the churn. We are not at the micro SMB segment, which is a very high churn kind of segment. We start at 15 employees, more or less 15 employees, to 500. No, that would be our broad segment. 500, even we have companies with more than 1,000 employees, but that would be not the sweet spot. The sweet spot is from 15 to 500, which have less churn than the micro businesses that go from 1 to 10 employees.
Was that your ICP from the get-go, or did you learn that this is the sweet spot over time?
That was our ICP from the beginning. We moved from 20, the average was at 20 at some point, to 60, 50, 60 that we are right now. The averages, but right from the beginning, we knew that our software would not help a company that has less than 10 employees.
From the outset, Bernat identified small to medium-sized businesses as their primary target market, recognizing the inherent demand within this segment for a comprehensive HR solution. Despite acknowledging the risk associated with high churn rates, he pointed out the vast potential of the market, underscoring the strategic foresight in catering to an apparently limitless customer base. Here's Bernat discussing this limitless base with their drive to reach many different international markets.
Yeah, we wanted to start an international company, so we did everything in English right from the beginning. We hired international talent, and we knew that we were going to target the whole world, but our product served initially only Spanish customers. Then at some point, when we realized that we could serve Spanish customers, we started selling in France too. And when we realized that we could sell in France and in Spain, then we opened 9 markets at the same time. So 7 more plus 2, no? Plus France and Spain, 9 in total. And then we realized that we were an international company. So our product was serving multiple geographies. But we started in Spain, yeah.
A lot of SaaS companies, they all start in English, aiming for the US market because it's the biggest, the most money. You guys did not do that. What was the thinking behind it?
Well, we are targeting almost every SMB. In fact, we did some contests in the beginning when we would call databases yellow pages, and we would be selling 1 out of 3 calls. So almost everybody is our target. And when you make the numbers, any European country is $1 billion market, or more than $1 billion market. So it doesn't make any sense to think that the only market is the US. Of course, the biggest in the world, especially for software. But if you look at Europe, there are many, many huge markets as well. So we started targeting the European market.
Is targeting, different countries in Europe, Spain and France and Germany, is it only about, marketing in German language or other considerations?
I wish. No, there are many more considerations from all perspectives. So as you know, Europe is a very highly regulated market. So we have a lot of compliance, weird regulations, many rules. So understanding this way of thinking, it's a must, and it's different market by market. So you need to understand what's the regulatory environment in every market, and that's very specific for our product, which is an HR product. And every time management product is very tied to compliance. Every payroll product is very tied to compliance. So in terms of products, they are different, but not only. Also, the marketing, the behavior of people are different, market by market, and they are very different, not just a little bit different. No, the pricing strategies are different. Almost everything is different. Of course, when we started, the first thing we did is translating to all the languages for all the countries in Europe, and that managed to get us some customers to start learning from. But if you want to scale, you need to understand that every market is different and hire local teams for every market.
What's an example of how a pricing strategy might be different from country to country?
There are countries that are more used to discounting. For example, Spain. Spain is a country that it's very open to discounting. They expect, customers expect some sort of discount. Whereas there are other markets like Germany, in which discounts don't work. People don't expect discount at all. That's just an example. But they're willing to pay much more for a software. So the price point is different. But the level of quality, of expectation, of compliance, of precision is different as well. So there are different tolerance, there are different price points, there are different reactions to discounting. So you have to take that into account as well.
How long did it take you guys to hit first million in revenues?
3 years. And in fact, it's funny because it actually took us 1 month to go from 100K. So it took us 3 years to go from 0 to 100K of ARR. And then 1 month to go from 100K to 1 million. Why? Because we were initially a free product and we were monetizing through brokerage. We're selling insurances, we're selling different kind of products, lateral products that didn't bring us that much revenue and margin, especially margin. But one day we decided that this was not going to scale, so we would have to charge for the SaaS, just like any other software. It was a risky move for us because we had a lot of active customers, and we were scared whether we would keep them or they would leave. And we made different scenarios, and it ended up being the best scenario that we made, and most people paid. And not only we went from 100K to more than 1 million, but we also became profitable in 1 month.
Bernat says it took Factorial 3 years to go from 0 to 100K in ARR, but only 1 month to reach 1 million in annual recurring revenue. What changed? They let go of their free use model and started charging for their services. Though this isn't quite a freemium strategy, it's not unlike what most businesses choose to do. Here's Lucid Software's founder Carl Sun and VP of Sales Dan Cook talking about gaining 10 million freemium users before jumping to an enterprise model.
And it's also around that time that people in the industry, like Jason here, were talking about the freemium model and saying quotes like this. So he started by saying, "We'd all love to do freemium because we don't have to hire salespeople." And I have to admit, that was very much my mentality when I started the company. I grew up at Google, and I think there was this belief that if you build a great product, people will come and somehow they'll just decide to pay you and life will be good. Of course, what Jason went on to say to finish that quote is that, we all figured out that there's not enough businesses to build a $100 million business on freemium alone. I didn't know how to think about what the sales process should be or how to think about how efficient it was. I was concerned that layering on a sales team would add cost and concerned about what that would do to our business model and our unit economics. As you move from a freemium model to a non-touch self-service and then a light touch inside sales, and as you continue down this food chain, how the costs obviously increase, but they don't increase linearly. They increase in an exponential format.
And so I think the takeaway here is if you decide and if you're a part of this move from freemium to enterprise, be prepared to have conversations, tough ones sometimes, about what you should build and what you shouldn't build. We've had to do that.
So you went from like 100K MRR to 1 million in MRR.
In ARR.
ARR, yeah. Wow, yeah. And then how long did it take you to go from 1 million to 10 million?
That took us 2 years more and a half, 2 to 3 years.
Another 3 years. And so how did your process of acquiring customers change before the first million and turning on monetization and then after? What changed and how were you acquiring customers?
So we started doing mostly SEO organic. That was our only channel in the first 3 years. We had a free product which helped, and we attracted dozens of thousands of customers, of users who used our product. Then we started when we raised money in the meantime. This year, the third year, when we proved that we could monetize, that we're profitable, we're growing. Then we raised 18 million euros. Then that was 2020. Then 2021, we're growing internationally already. And it was a very good year to fundraise. So we raised 80 million euros. And then we started investing in many more channels. So, of course, changing the financial capabilities of the company changed also how you look at the acquisition channels. Often you screw it up at that point. No? You start spending money in many ways. But we identified other channels that work. We did paid marketing. We tried different levels of how can we say, like tension in paid marketing, until we found our sweet spot. We started an outbound motion in our sales team. We started a channel team that built alliances and partnerships that now are working quite well, and they are an important part of our new pipeline. So we started expanding in many other ways. We did events. We started doing events. We started doing affiliate. We started trying many more things as we grow and as we raise money. But still today, our main channel, even now, is still organic. Organic traffic, content. Now we build content and tools for our users, for our prospects, and that brings us a lot of traffic.
Back in 2020, you said that you invest everything in growth, always prioritize growth over short-term profitability. How has that changed now that we're in this era of efficient growth?
Yeah, it changed completely. So I think that's what we have to do as entrepreneurs. Now we need to understand what are the constraints that we have, what are the opportunities. No, we have to take we need to have a very strong vision, and then everything else is tactics. No, and even the approach that we have to fundraising is not so strategic. It's tactic. No, we need to get to a certain point, and we need to identify what is our ability to get resources to get there. No, and if we can accelerate, all the better. No, we have a long-term plan that we want to achieve, but if we can go faster, we will always take it. So when we realized that the market was changing, we started changing our approach of how do we see countries, how do we see channels. So we stopped channels that were not that profitable. We started killing channels. We started killing countries. Not countries, we didn't kill countries, but we started asking those countries to be profitable. So we have some countries that we call core markets that they have a growth target period, always with a payback period associated. Of course, we have always efficiency metrics in every market, but they are growth markets, so we spend more in more channels to grow there. And there are other markets that are profitability oriented. So they have a bottom line, a contribution margin target, no? And the managers there are making decisions in a complete different mindset. So it changed a lot, actually. It changed a lot the way we see our growth, the way we see our bottom line. We have a plan to be profitable, and we're executing a plan to be profitable. No, we want to be, we have resources to be forever alive, and we're very paranoid in being alive. No, so even if in any scenario, even if we would not fundraise anymore, we would still execute our plan. We would still grow at the pace that we're growing. We would still keep everything as usual.
How often are you paying attention to the competitive landscape, seeing what the competitors are doing, and shifting your product and marketing strategy based on that?
Not too much. I mean, you hear it because we have a lot of sales people that, of course, come to me and to my team and to the product team. And we say, look at this competitor, they're doing this, look at this offer, look at this and that. So it's impossible not to hear, but we try to build our own product based on our own learnings, on our learnings from our clients, not so much on what the others are doing.
Bernat mentions paying little attention to the competitive landscape, but how it's important to listen to their salespeople when it comes to serving their customer base. A similar point was mentioned in our episode with Greg Gallant of Muckrack.
We always tried to make sure that we never obsessed about them and we did things our own way. And that was a big part of our success. Then what ends up happening is that you have to really arm the sales team with good competitive intel because the competitors are doing the same and the competitors will try to spot your weakness or often just make up a weakness. Our sales team needs to explain why we're better than the competition. So if someone says, well, you know what, Muckrack seems awesome, but I'm using XYZ competitor now, and like, why should I go through the trouble of learning a new platform? So our sales team needs to be educated to say, let me show you Muckrack because I think we can do things in a much better way. It was more to be educated to know how to speak to the customers about it.
You started out as an all-in-one HR solution, but now over time you've been even expanding that, going into finance and other aspects. So talk a little bit about the thinking there, like why expand even further with your product?
Yeah, so we have two basic criteria when we're building product. Is we want to be very horizontal, so we want to solve many big problems of small and medium companies. No, so what we try to simplify the complexity of an SMB, and we try to identify what are the biggest problems around people management, where we started, but also cash and compliance. No, and there we try to identify the biggest problem that we have, and we try to move horizontally as a principle. So there's a certain point in which we stop developing more layers of complexity, of depth in our solution, and we move to the next problem. And the other thing is how do we keep things simple? No, and there's always a tension between adding more functionality and keeping things simple. We want our approach to the market as being the most simple product to use, very easy to use. It doesn't require onboarding. It just employees just adopt it. We have a very simple application, mobile application that everybody understands. So because we want to keep that, we want also to keep certain level of simplicity that also helps us when we are having this debate on whether we go more in depth or more horizontal. No, we move vertical or we move horizontal. No, and the most important thing is to keep being simple, easy to use.
Is every product that you add contributing to more revenue, more retention? Like, what are the financial impact of each product that you add?
Both. There are products that contribute more to retention because they build history and investment for customers into the platform, and there are products that are more transactional, more nice to have, more fillers. We have more products that are critical, products that are nice to have a combination, but they are all contribute revenue and retention.
And so, what is the trade-off here? Is it like more code base to maintain? You need more developers. It's, are you guys slower because of this? So what are the trade-offs of expanding the product?
We're learning what are the trade-offs. We're paying them as we go, but at the end, you always create complexity. We have almost 200 developers, and they create complexity even when they go vertical, when they move vertically, or when they go horizontally. When you go horizontally, you might have simple units, but then you have the complexity in the coordination of the products, and how the experience of discovering, using, connecting the products between them. If you go vertically, then you have complexity in layers and layers and layers within a product. So unfortunately, we are always trying to keep also the complexity of our product as simple as possible. So we are rethinking, redoing our own experience all the time. But it's impossible to not create complexity when you have 200 engineers and you've been 7 years writing code.
HR tech is globally a big competitive market. It's like a $24 billion market. So why has your company succeeded where many others have not? So looking back, what are the things that you did well?
The thing that most of our customers repeat over and over is that people love using your product. They love, employees love using your product. It's very easy for them. It's very simple to understand. And that's why they choose it. But the truth is that many of the SMBs that use Factorial use the software for the first time when they used it. So even though it looks like a very competitive market, and it definitely is for bigger companies, so above 1,000 employees, the Workday, the SAP of the world have built the product like long time ago, and most companies have a software already. When you go below 1,000 employees, there is no so much software in the market. So what we see is a very legacy on-premise tools, lots of spreadsheets, lots of paper, lots of documents, but not so much a complete solution that connects all the points of a company. So we are replacing spreadsheets. Even today, we're replacing spreadsheets. Even if it's a competitive market, we don't see so much competition. We're not so much afraid of competition. We're afraid of the complexity of the world and the organizations, how they complicate their lives a lot. And we try to simplify also, convince them to keep things simple inside their processes and organizations.
So you started the company already 8 years ago. So what are the top 3 lessons you would want to pass on to other B2B SaaS founders? What have you learned about building business?
For me, the most important lesson is to enjoy the problem you're solving, to fall in love with the problem you're solving. Because it takes so much time, so much energy. You have so many problems that, so if you don't enjoy fixing this problem, getting into the complexity, falling into the complexity of other people and trying to find out how to make it simple. If you don't enjoy this process, it's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be very hard that you survive. we spent a very, very bad times also. So when we were in our third year with no business model, we're not growing, and we didn't have money in the bank. So we thought that we're done, basically. And because we're very passionate, we resisted. Then there was very good moments in which everybody wanted to invest in us. So we went from being nothing to being like one of the we were a unicorn company, no? And a lot of investors wanted to invest and getting angry because we didn't let them in. And so we lived all kind of situations or kind of experiences, no? In this process. And the common thing is that we always enjoy building solutions to our market, to our clients, and this is what kept us together, kept us alive, kept us focused, no? And we're talking before starting to record, no? If I would do this forever, and yes, definitely I would do this forever, because I really enjoy it. And also another key factor is who are your partners? This is something that all entrepreneurs underestimate when they're starting, and they see this guy or this girl who would they get along with, and that's it. Let's start this problem, but then the journey is so long, and then you need to make sure that you're building a very strong partnership. You want the others to succeed. It's not like just like you want to succeed for yourself and that's it. No, you want the other to succeed. You're going to be patient. You're going to be flexible. There will be times in which the other will be less motivated or more motivated. You have to resist this journey, and you have to get along very well with your partner. So this, I think, is also another critical aspect. The other thing is being paranoid with their resources, being very optimistic in the business and showing and translating this optimism to everybody in the team, but being very extremely paranoid in the resources that you have, and in case everything goes wrong, make sure that you are alive no matter what. We also kept this double mindset, and it has worked very well for us.
So, how did Factorial HR win? 1. Targeted SMBs with an all-in-one solution.
We wanted to target SMB right from the beginning. And if you go to visit an SMB, the first thing you learn is that you cannot be fixing problem by problem. No, they want a solution that is complete.
2. They expanded internationally with localized strategies going after non-US markets.
We wanted to start an international company, so we did everything in English right from the beginning. We hired international talent, and we knew that we were going to target the whole world. Then at some point, when we realized that we could serve Spanish customers, we started selling in France too. Then we opened 9 markets at the same time. So our product was serving multiple geographies.
3. They kept adding more products to the platform that increased retention and revenue per customer.
There are products that contribute more to retention because they build history and investment for customers into the platform. And there are products that are more transactional, more nice to have, more fillers. We have more products that are critical, products that are nice to have a combination, but they are all contribute revenue and retention.
And that's how you win. I'm Pepla. For more tips on how to win, follow me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Thanks for listening.